Hi YouTube, this video is going to be about cloth wipes and family cloth, or otherwise known as cloth toilet paper. So I wanted to tell you about how I made mine, what I made mine out of, and the process I made mine with. And the trials that I had, so hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. So I first want to talk about the cloth wipe. I cut and sewed, hand sewed my cloth wipes. They are about 8 by 8 inches in length, and basically how I determined how big I wanted mine was because I had bought a couple of yards of this terry cloth fabric, and I had folded the 1 yard of terry cloth fabric several times, and the 8 by 8 seemed like a good length for my size, to where I wouldn't have to be wasting any material. So as you can see, it's bigger than my hand. That's one thing that you want to keep in mind when you're having cloth wipes, is making sure it's bigger than your hand. I decided to use terry cloth because it has this kind of a rough side and then a soft side to it. Also because it's a more durable fabric. A lot of people use flannel also. Terry cloth is made out of, a lot of people make receiving blankets out of terry cloth, so that is really great if you can reuse cloth. I didn't have any cloth that I could reuse, so that's just what I ended up choosing. So I hand stitched all of mine. The reason why I did that was because I cut the ends with pinking shears. You can kind of see it's coming out a little bit there. And then after I washed them again, you want to wash your fabric right when you get it. That way you make sure that there's no extra shrinkage. After I washed my fabric, after I cut it with the pinking shears, it still kind of did these little pilly things everywhere, and I did not want to deal with that. So I decided to hand stitch mine. I'm going to show you how I hand stitched all of mine here in a minute, in case you're wondering how to do that. Here is my family cloth. It's about 4 by 3 inches, and how I came to that was I had cut a 1 yard of, this is a cotton flannel material. I decided to choose cotton flannel because it's very durable, it's pretty soft, and I just thought it would be probably the best material for use over and over and over again. So I straight edged cut all of the material, and how I came up with this size was I did the same thing of the folding over and over and over again, and I thought, okay, well, this just looks like a good size to try to use all of the fabric. So after I had washed it, again, it frayed everywhere. So I was super disappointed. So then I decided to cut all of my little squares with pinking shears, thinking that that should prevent the fraying. Well, it didn't. It's still frayed. I'm not really sure why it frayed, but it did. So then I decided to hand stitch all of my family cloth squares. So I'm going to show you how I hand stitched all of mine. Basically, I got I had a bunch of thread left over from my great aunt Iris. She left me all these really fun colors, and that's what I embroidered my cloth wipes around. So that's really fun. But for all of my family cloth squares, I had this huge spool of 100% polyester in my bucket, and I thought, well, this will be great to just use for all my family cloth. So I take my family cloth squares and I used a double thread here just to be easy. Actually, let's move this so you can see it a little easier. The double cloth, and then I threaded the needle here. For the first stitch, you want to go underneath and then up, and then you will pull it through, all the way through. If you're using a really long thread like I'm doing, because I don't want to have to re-thread halfway through, you want to be careful and make sure that it doesn't bunch up and doesn't create extra knots while you're doing that. And then you take it from the top and push it. I just went this little bit here because I had already cut all of my cloth with the pinking shears, so I just used that as a general rule to keep them straight and looking as neat as I could without having to redo all of my cloth again. So I put the needle through, and then you just want to loop it around so it has this. Again, you want to make sure that it's not getting any knots in there. So it has this loop. You can see that, the loop, and then you'll just tighten it. And then you'll do the same process over and over and over till the very end. So you push the needle through. You want to loop it around and then pull the needle through. Oops, pull the needle through the loop. So I'll show it to you again since I kind of went off the screen that last time. So you'll just put it through, you'll pull the needle through, you'll make sure it had went through the loop. And then you do that over and over and over, all the way around the square until you have the finished product. So there's the finished product, and in my next video I'll show you where we store the mat and all of the particulars about using them. So click to subscribe if you want to see more, and I'm available to answer any questions if you have any questions. Thanks, YouTube.